session to you guys and talk about what you've got going on. But yeah, I know, Alex, you've got some stuff planned, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Perfect. And I just turned on our live stream. So it looks like if you're joining on LinkedIn or on YouTube, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to get started in just a moment, just giving everybody an opportunity to join. What we're going to start is we'll probably rip through a little bit about myDevices and what we offer. And then maybe we'll have a Q&A portion. I'd love to hear a little bit more about the IoT projects you guys are working on. So feel free to drop those in the chat as well. That'll help Cam and I customize things a bit. Cam, you just want to take a quick moment and introduce yourself as well, because I feel like I always skip over you.
Yeah, no, totally. So I'm Cameron from myDevices, VP of Sales. Been with the company for quite some time now, part of the founding team early on. So been through really a lot of different things, been through it all really. And we've had a front row seat to watching this industry grow and our product grow and our customers and everything. So those of you watching today, get to benefit from just years of experience out in with real world deployments, real customers. And that's why we, put these weekly webinars on, because there's just so much happening on a day-to-day basis that we just love to jump on here and share with you new practices, new business models, new solutions, new technology, and everything that's going out, and how, the role that we're playing. So and ultimately how we can help you be a part of the action. So yeah, it's a quick intro, and thanks everybody for joining today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Cam. Appreciate that. And Robert, I saw your message about not being able to see the chat stream. I'm not sure if that's still an issue. Let us know. It looks like so far I'm seeing a couple things come in the chat. So let us know. We'll try to fix that on our end. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead, Cam.
It's weird because on my side I don't see the chat messages. Oh, I see one here now from Kim. So maybe yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see them earlier, but it might have just been because I joined late. So Kim says no projects yet, doing a refresher so she can change that. Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is great. The industry is changing so much and so frequently. It's really important to, do your best to kind of stay up to date with what's going on. And yeah, that's why we do these weekly. We love to just kind of keep the message out there and keep everybody up to date with exciting projects and everything. So yeah, it looks like the chat's working on my end now. So hopefully it's fixed for everybody else.
Perfect. And then I see Guy, you used our dashboard in the past, and curious to see what has been added and changed. Not sure what the past is, but what range, but we've had quite a few changes recently, which is great, because we're always developing, always looking to learn and do, new things on the platform. So it's really exciting thing, but thanks so much for joining. I think I'll go ahead and get started and share my screen here. And let's see, Cam, let me know if you can see this on your end.
Yep, no problem. And by the way, I'm going to be manning the chat as best as I can while you're doing your thing. And watching LinkedIn, we got YouTube and this, so I'm going to be kind of on my keyboard jumping around, but and I'll chime in, when I need to. But yeah, so for everybody, we'll run through kind of a quick intro. We'll show some dashboards, we'll show some real world deployments, all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's what we've kind of got in store for you today. But yeah, Alex, go ahead, do your thing. I'll be manning the chat for you.
Thanks, appreciate it. So just to give everyone a quick introduction, my name is Alex again. I'm an account executive here with myDevices. I came to myDevices through the wireless space, and my first experience with IoT was seeing what a temperature sensor could do at a Chick-fil-A deployment that my husband did. I think he may have done it with Cameron actually back then. And I was really interested in learning more at this time, so several years ago, and I really realized that there were endless opportunities within IoT. And so I think it's great to just give you all a peek into where we sit in this IoT space. So just to give you some background on myDevices, we were founded in 2013. We launched our platform in 2015. We started early on in the infancies of IoT. Our primary investor is a company called Semtech. They created the LoRa technology that most IoT products use today. We're headquartered in Burbank, California, but we really are now a global company. Cam is in California, I'm in Atlanta. We have an additional warehouse in Paris. We have deployments that we're working on in countries like Australia, South Africa. So really anywhere that IoT is going, we're following along and assisting with deployments. And we're working with some of the largest companies that are implementing IoT solutions today. Companies like T-Mobile, Aramark, Sodexo. So we have the ability to work on a very large scale, but then we also enable some of the smaller system integrator companies. So really big, small, and anywhere in between, we're doing worldwide deployments with all of them. And the way we go to market is unblocking IoT. And so, just to give you an idea of our business model overview, it's a complete end-to-end platform that we've built out. And the way we do this is unblocking this full circle, what we call the first mile of IoT. We realized as companies were approaching us, there was this huge barrier to entry. And what I mean by that is all these things that are required to make a deployment successful. So things like web and mobile apps or device management. You've got integrations, ordering hardware, or even different APIs that you'd have to manage on every single sensor in order to integrate those into a platform. Our goal is to bundle that into a single offering and enablement for faster time to market, reduced cost, and reduced risk. And so the first way we do that is we've got our online store. And I encourage you guys to take a quick look at it after we finish this meeting. But it's great because we've got close to 1,400 sensors from 300 different manufacturers that we've aggregated all into one single place. And so we warehouse these sensors and we inventory them. We manage all the pick, pack, shipping, and provisioning of the sensors. And essentially, we become one single source of hardware acquisition for you, which is great because now you don't need to go around to different manufacturers, go through the provisioning, configuring processes. There's all these lengthy processes we're expediting for you. And so all these sensors, they're plug and play ready. You can scan the QR codes on the sensor. Now you can immediately start visualizing data. And it's great as well because we've got such a large catalog of sensors here, generally from what I see, we can accommodate most use cases. But if there's something you're looking for that we don't have, we can always reach out to one of those 300 different manufacturers and see if they have it. So essentially we become this one vendor where you can get hardware, but then we also are adding software, help with installation, and enabling you to go to market and start selling and deploying these services. And we're, like I said, offering streamlined IoT enablement so that you have not only that, but software integrations and additional support and added value-added services that we provide. So all these sensors that we are going to provide to you will speak back to our sensor application. And just to show you how easy it is to use, if you needed to add a device, you can click in here to add device. You'd scan the QR code that's on the back of all our devices or type in this device ID. You can also name your device and immediately it's going to drop into this list view here. And this app is great because you're essentially going to white label this. So your logo will go here. This will go on your colors, on your own domain. You can access it anywhere that has internet. So smartphone, tablet, and you've got all these different dashboards and ways to visualize this data. So you can click in on your map views and see what sensors are operating at a location. You can click in and look at things like asset tracking. We've got different dashboards for temperature monitoring, desk occupancy, vibration monitoring, and things like predictive maintenance, water usage, and even electric sub-metering. So we have all these different dashboards that we're going to provide to you to visualize this data. And then you've got additional, customizable features with this within the application. So you can look at things like adding alerts into the application, which is fully customizable, or even looking at live sensor maps as sensors are moving across a location, which is amazing. And then you've also got things like reporting tools in this application. So if you wanted to go ahead and not only utilize these reports, we've got integrations with Power BI, but then you can also create new reporting, send those reports out weekly. So many different ways to utilize this application, which is great. But then that's not really even the only way that you can go to market. Another way is once you've got all these sensors up and running, you may want the data to go into a work ticketing system or a billing management system. And so you can do that in the app using the integrations capabilities. We've got integrations into any third-party app or platform like Azure, Google Cloud, or even custom integrations through REST APIs and custom webhooks. The key part of our integrations is that we're a single integration that makes any app or platform compatible with thousands of sensors. So instead of integrating a device individually with the platform, you integrate with the myDevices set of APIs, and now that platform is instantly compatible with thousands of devices. So we've got this app so you can visualize the data, but at the end of the day, it's our APIs into your system where the data is eventually going to end up. And we do that all through custom webhooks and REST APIs. There's multiple ways to get the data on your side. And it's great because now we're also pairing this with backend tools that we're providing to you. So we provide you with a backend console. So this is your administrative portal that you can use to manage your business, your customers, and your technology. You can see all your customers, do your firmware updates, your bulk provisioning. You can place orders and track order statuses, and all that administrative work is done through our backend console. And then there are additional value-added services, and not only that, are really, we're going to become your IoT warehouse. So We manage the storing and logistics for you. We procure, we pack, we ship the hardware to you or directly to your customers. We manage the warranties and all the RMAs, and we're really working with the manufacturers on this, so you're not, having to deal with all this back and forth. And it's just another way that we're really doing the heavy lifting so that you can go to market immediately. And then there are additional support services, because truly we're an enablement company, so we want to provide all the services and the training to make you successful as well. So it starts with a kickoff call with our team. We have a 30-day onboarding process, and we like to understand what type of projects you have going on. We leverage our experience to consult on which sensors would be the best for your use cases. We put together solutions and custom dashboards, and we do all of that ahead of time to make sure that you're in the best position to offer these services to your customers. And then we train you on the app, we train you on the backend console so that you can use those to be successful. And then there are additional professional services. Maybe you need help with an installation, or maybe you need boots on the ground to physically go out and install the sensors. We've got over 1,900 trained technicians who can assist with that. And then in addition, we've got technical support for whether it be hardware troubleshooting or systems integration and getting the data routed into your customers' platforms. So all that to say, the goal is that we're assisting with the hardware, the software, the connectivity, and all these additional services that are needed to make a deployment in an IoT business successful. And I think it's great just to show a little bit of how our timeline for how we go to market. What we do is we have this phased approach, and what it starts with is the kickoff call. Like I mentioned, we meet with your team. We really love for your team to get to know our team. We bring in our implementation team, our sensor experts. Our CEO, Kevin, loves to join that call. Sometimes Cam joins in on those calls too. And we start to understand your goals. We start to build your solution. We also deliver your white label at that point, conduct your trainings. And then at phase 2, we really want to run a proof of concept. So we'll send sensors out to you, or maybe to one of your more friendly clients. We'll set up alerts. We'll start building custom dashboards and really starting to make this project work. And then at phase 3, which is generally week 4, we've created this perfect working solution. And now the goal is, how can we scale this and how can we grow this? And it's great because this is a full 30-day process. And we're, like I said, expediting and supporting this whole process for you. So, and even just to summarize, we're offering streamlined IoT enablement for companies, providing software that you can white label, integrations to get the data routed where you need to go, where you need it to go, connectivity, and then hardware that is plug and play ready from 300 different manufacturers. And then an additional support team of sensor experts and deployment specialists, everything that you would need to go to market and support a deployment. But I'm going to pause there because I know that there may be some questions. I'm not chat. I know you're manning the chat, so let me know if anybody's dropped anything so far.
Ooh, okay. Now everybody swig your water. Okay, yes. So that's a lot of info, right? So, but it's really good just to kind of rip through that kind of whole story. But I'm going to just back up to kind of just summarize again and explain a little bit of the context behind all of these different things that we do and why we do them. So the first thing, Alex, when you were showing the dashboard, right, the visualization, and a lot of times that's the first place, our viewers or clients or people that we talk to, potential customers of ours, potential partners, when they find our site, they learn about our company, they're like, okay, platform. This is they're a software company. They have an IoT platform. And really that is at the core of our business, where we started. And really what we do very well is the software, not just the software like what you're seeing here to visualize things, which I think we do very well, but also software underneath the underlying layers, being able to normalize sensor payloads into a standardized format across thousands of different devices. Being able to manage all of the templated downlink commands to devices so we can configure send intervals and we can change the way devices behave and do all of that. So we've got kind of this sensor application that allows you to do everything you need to do so that regardless of what the requirements are of the use case, we can meet them. But something that's really important is the ability to just buy hardware from somebody and just have an app that goes along with it and turn it on and it just works. Because historically, where if you go shop solutions or try to find sensors and use cases anywhere else, most of the time what you end up doing is getting a sensor from one manufacturer, getting a gateway from another manufacturer, and then each of these products has their own way of programming and turning it on and making it work that's unique to each other. And you've got to learn how to do that through R&D or having a embedded engineer that can write the code to the device and do all this crazy stuff. And then you've got to get that data into a LoRa network server or a cellular network or Wi-Fi or whatever it is. And there's a bunch of routing that goes on there. Now you've got to get the data to an application and then to a building management system or wherever else. So there's this whole just mush of stuff that goes on just to get one sensor working. Whereas what we've created over the years of just iterating and figuring out what the market needs to remove the friction, we've developed the ability to just say, hey, I need a leak sensor, a temperature sensor, an HVAC sensor, and I'll put, whatever it is. Okay, here you go, scan, scan, scan. It's working. Okay, now route the data out and it's done. Like we can, so that 30-day process that we've created, that kickoff process and the training and then the deployment, that comes from the fact that we've got all the tools to get you up and running quickly. All we need to do is just engage with the team and figure out what the project is, and then we can set up the foundation needed for you guys on the call to be successful with what you're trying to deploy. We've got all the tools, we've got the software, we've got the hardware, we've got the integrations, we've got the connectivity options. So we use this 30-day process to learn about your project, point you in the right direction using our tools, and then come up with a plan to get a POC to validate. So that everybody, your customer, you, us, we're all looking at it saying, okay, yeah, this is working. This is what we need. And then okay, now let's scale that. Let's turn this into a real functioning business and long-term project. So it really is full enablement from end to end, powered by the software tools that we've created and our willingness to aggregate inventory and warehouse hardware and manage the logistics of programming, provisioning, and shipping it to you so that your focus is deploying solutions. So that, really all of that Alex put together and the details of it that she outlined is all with this single goal in mind, which is unblocking IoT. So there are a few questions in the chat that I want to address. So first of all, Guy, how compatible is myDevices to be used in a company? Well, that's what it's built for. We are industrial and commercial grade solutions purely. We don't do anything consumer. We don't do anything like smart home or anything like that. Our deployments take place, our customers are companies like Sodexo and Aramark and others that are taking this to use as their facility management solutions for things like optimized cleaning schedules or commercial temperature monitoring and refrigeration units, or hospitals will use this to track pressure of clean rooms and dirty rooms. Manufacturing companies, a company called SVT Robotics, which we've both done some social shout outs because there's some really cool projects going on where our sensors are talking to their robotics platform to automate workflows in a warehouse to say, hey, tell the robot to come over here because this pallet is empty, so it can, the automated forklift can go drop stuff off. So we are built for businesses. We help optimize business processes. We help add value to existing platforms, and it is, it's commercial and industrial grade. So I'm just going to kind of rip through the questions here, Alex, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Some really good ones in here. So does the platform support, actually, sorry, hold on, I skipped one. Guy, I'll get back to yours. Jeff actually had one before that. Can the raw data stream be pointed at our own application gateway? So yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I would say the majority of the time, we are middleware to an extent to get data from 1,100 different sensors through a single API into whatever that endpoint is. Sometimes it's a work ticketing system, sometimes it's a building management system, sometimes it's IBM Maximo, sometimes it's Azure, Power BI, Tableau. Sometimes we don't even know what it is. I had some proprietary app, right, that our clients like, no, it's top secret. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because we have the documentation and we've got dozens of ways to get the data out. REST API. We've got one-click integrations with all of the Azure, Amazon, and Google services. We've got one-click integrations through Databricks into Tableau and Power BI and all of that. We've got webhooks, which is open-ended integrations. We've got MQTT. We've got a REST API, which is for more deeper customization. More deeper, I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but for deeper customization. So getting access to our tools, our historical database, our alerts engine, things like that. So just so many ways to integrate. And I would say probably the most valuable thing that we provide is our ability to get data out into any platform, because you don't have to worry about all of that first mile work before just sending data from a sensor to your platform. If you were to go buy a temperature sensor somewhere and do a bunch of work, and now you've actually got it working to, somehow, some way, you're seeing temperature data on some platform, and now you send that data out, and then you say, okay, temperature is cool, but I want to do people counting now. And you go get a people counter sensor and you do another month's worth of work to make that thing work. Now you've got to do the integration again. What we've done is you open up our platform, you build the integration, and now you can just this sensor, this sensor, this sensor, this sensor, but it's all feeding through that integration with the same exact logic. So yeah, it's a very scalable integration source. So it's a very valuable thing that we provide. And then when you combine that with, hey, we're also going to pick, pack, ship, drop ship, provision, manage the logistics of getting the physical sensors out. I mean, that's really where we shine, is that now we become sort of your IoT warehouse, as well as your integration source, as well as your sort of consultants in a way, and which sensors are the best ones to use based on our experience and how to program that, how to configure them efficiently. So next question from Guy, does the platform support multi-tenant and multi-applications? Yes, it does. And there's multiple different types of, we get this question a lot, and they're, in its simplest form, it's I can add a sensor and then I can say, you get access to it, you get access to it, you get access to it. You can view only, you can edit, and you're an owner, right? So there's that different, very on a simplistic level. And then there's groups, right? You've got a location, pizza shop 1, pizza shop 2. Yeah, this is great. So there's different groupings, right? So you've got all these different, could be West Coast, and then under West Coast is like all of the locations there. Or it could just be the entire US or the entire world, right? So you've got all these groupings, and then you can assign user permissions that way. A level even above that, and this is where Alex mentioned the backend console. The backend console is like the mothership, right? It's your super admin portal. So you've got the front end app. Alex is laughing at me because I always use different analogies. I don't even know where they come from, but so the app itself, the front end, what Alex is showing here, right? You scan the devices in, you've got data. You can now share that with anybody you want, and they can see the data. You can open an integration and feed data outbound. This is the main tool. This is broken into different logins. So every customer of yours or every user is going to have an email and password to gain access to this front end to see whatever they need to see. The backend console is for you and for you only. Your customers don't see it. Your end users don't see it. But it allows you to do multi-tenancy on an even higher level. You can remote access into customer locations to see what that customer sees, so you can provide support. You can bulk register or bulk remove devices onto accounts. You can bring in third-party devices, through different device integrations, whether it's through MQTT or HTTP or whatever else. That's all done through the backend console. Multi-applications is something that very, very soon, it's something we can do, but it's on a manual side. We get requests from our partners, and then we work it out, but it's actually something we will be exposing very soon to our customers, where you can actually create, essentially you would have your app, which is on your domain, and you can create a subdomain of your own, which is a unique app. We see this with enterprise customers, our enterprise customers a lot, where they want, if you think about a global company, they might want one app to be the US version, and then they need a European version, and then they need an Australian version. By the way, this is a globe right here. So it's US, Europe, and Australia. That's why I did that. Okay. So anyways, that's kind of where that started, is there's multiple applications that maybe need to be hosted on a server. This app needs to be hosted on an AU server because of security requirements, and this one needs to be in EU because of GDPR and so on. But even on a smaller level, there's other reasons to have multi-apps. So okay, Kim's question, how secure is the device if we use customers' Wi-Fi? Okay, yeah, great question. So I would say about 90% of our deployments are on cellular backhaul, whether it's the sensor itself that's cellular, or it's a LoRa device going to a gateway and the gateway is cellular. Security is a big reason for that. Another reason for that is just simplicity. You don't have to worry about firewalls. You don't have to worry about plugging in. You don't have to worry about if the Wi-Fi password changes. Now you have to go to the gateways and change the password that they're connecting to. Like from a maintenance standpoint, from a security standpoint, it's just a million reasons why cellular makes more sense than Wi-Fi. And the cost, most of the time, isn't that much different, because it's one gateway that needs the cell connectivity. And more recently, we're starting to see SIM cards that are flat rate plans or really low cost plans. Like we're getting more and more to the point where the cell data for IoT solutions is getting very cheap. So it's pretty rare that we even see Wi-Fi deployments at this point for commercial and industrial solutions. For home solutions, which I mentioned we don't involve ourselves in, that's where you would see Wi-Fi, because it's we're very, very price conscious on that side of the market. Having said that, we've yet to have a scenario where we laid out our architecture, our security white paper, our SOC 2 compliance, or GDPR, like all of the security docs that we have in front of a enterprise customer, and they say, nope, this doesn't meet our security requirements. And we've been through RFPs with military, government, federal entities. We've been through with massive, enterprise companies that are going through RFPs with different IoT providers, and we've won multiple of them. And the security has never been an issue. So I don't think there's, more of the issue with deploying on Wi-Fi. It doesn't have to do with security, because there's so much encryption. There's so many different layers where everything is protected. It really is the complexity when you start having to deal with open ports and things that are a little bit more out of our control. So hopefully that answer helps. Yeah, Guy, I'll send you some. I will send you some specifics around that. We do have a doc that says like, hey, if you're going to use one of our gateways on Ethernet, here's the port that needs to be open and all that fun stuff. So try to avoid that because we do like to do cellular on most deployments. But in the case that that is the route we have to go for whatever reason, we do have supporting links and documentation on what to do. So that's no problem. Yeah, these questions are really great, guys. So helpful when these types of questions come up, because I think it really, the conversation lends itself to what you guys are interested in. So yeah, thanks so much for throwing those in there.
I have another one, Cam. But
yeah.
I can throw it at you. Yeah, I think it came to me directly, but can raw data be converted to useful information using calculations within the platform, i.e. reading temperature and flow to calculate BTUs and TR capacity for HVAC systems?
Yeah, this is really, really, really important question. Do you have the console?
I don't have it here. Are you able to pull up on your? Are you able to share?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. I will steal your screen from you.
There we go.
So, okay, let's see. Where is their screen I'm trying to share? Okay. Can you see my screen okay, Alex?
Yep, looks great.
All right, so it's going to load up here. So one of the things that we do that's very unique about the way that we manage the data has to do with our device templates. And it's a term that's used pretty openly in the industry, device templates. Everybody has device templates, but it's kind of derived from things that we've taken to market that have a lot of special sauce, and they're like very valuable capabilities. And then it kind of gets glossed over and simplified and then overused in the industry, in my opinion. So device template to us, what that means is all of the metadata, functionality, and capabilities of a device that allow you to customize it to do exactly what you need it to do for your very unique, very specific use case. And I'll give a more specific example. Temperature monitoring, let's say people counting or door open close. Let's say you have a door sensor, and it's a very simple example. You've got a door that's either open or closed. The data you might want to get from that would be open or closed. How many times has it been open or closed, or how long has it been open or closed? The sensor itself is very simple. It's just going to send you open or closed. When it hits our server, we can create a device template, and you can see like there's like this ABUA device. We've got like 4 or 5 different templates for it. The reason is because we're going to either decode the data in a different way depending on the template, or we're going to decode it in the same way, but then we're going to add some user input that would then modify the way that data is being displayed based on that input. So the very short answer to your question is, yeah, we can absolutely add different input in order to tell you things that you want to see specifically. So another example is actually, we did a whole webinar on this a couple of weeks ago. It's our hot drop device. This device is a very unique device that does energy monitoring. You can clip this on to a power line, and you can see how much energy an asset is using. Now, with a device template on our side, we can determine, okay, if we use this device template, then when you add the device, it's going to prompt the user for certain information. And that information is then going to be put into the calculation to then show machine runtime, or percentage of time up versus percentage of time down, or energy utilization over a 7-day period or over a 14-day period. So we can get very specific about the use case by modifying the device template to tell us what are the important user inputs that are needed to display valuable data. What are the important data points? What's the calculation needed to get there? What's the data unit type needed, and all of that. So in the backend console, when you get a license to our, one of our pro plans, and you get access to your backend console, you'll see these device templates and you'll be able to see some of the capabilities, some of the attributes, and you can kind of start to modify all of these different scenarios. So I'm going to show visually on the front end, or try to show here. Let's see if I can find something off the cuff that shows how a device template would differ, for different devices. So, man, I have a lot. These are simulated sensors, by the way. So something that you're able to do is, get an account and add some simulated devices on here to just start visualizing data as if the sensor was in front of you. So I do this all the time for demos, but this happens to be a level sensor, and it's, for waste bins, but it could be for giant silos or anything else. But you'll see that the user can say the level that I'm going to be monitoring is on a horizontal tank or a vertical tank. If it's a vertical tank, is it cylindrical? Is it a cube? Is it a rectangle? All of these different user inputs help us determine the template to use, and therefore how the data needs to be manipulated to show something that's valuable. Because a cube tank and your level is going to have a different formula needed to get 75% full than a cylindrical tank. And if it's that you want meters, or do you want centimeters? What's the total capacity? What's it? So anyways, I know this isn't specifically to HVAC, but the concept is the same. For every use case, we can create different device templates, add different settings, add different user input capabilities so that we can formulate the data to be exactly what you need. And then you open up your webhook integration, and now you're not just getting blah, raw data from the sensor that's meaningless that you now have to do calculation. We're calculating, we're doing analysis, we're making it very, very valuable, and then feeding it to the integration. So when it hits your building management or your work ticketing system or whatever, you're getting very, very valuable data that you can use to enhance that software platform. It's not just raw data from the sensor. It can be, by the way, and it is both. You do have that too, because I get that question too, like, well, what if I just want the basic? Yeah, no problem. But to the point of this question, yeah, you can throw valuable data through. So yeah, go ahead, Alex. I think there's maybe some more questions in here.
Yeah, this one's a good one. I know we get this one quite a bit. What's the difference in Cayenne? I've seen that there are 3 platforms, or am I wrong?
Oh man.
It's a good
question. Great question. So Cayenne was the original product that we launched years and years and years ago, and it was really kind of a developer platform, and I think it would be more comparable to some of the other like IoT platforms that you see on the market today. IoT in a box, what you're looking at here, was a concept and a product that we announced when we first built Cayenne. The idea was, well, it's a developer platform, and we're going to build integrations with a bunch of different sensors that you can bring in. And then the idea would be that our users would prototype them on our platform and then use our APIs and build their own end user app and go to market with it. And it just didn't happen that way. There was too much friction and too much work. The feedback we continued to receive is we want plug and play. We want something I can turn on and work and take to market immediately, and then do the customization through integrations and all that. So really what we did is we said, we're telling our users that they can use Cayenne to build an end user product. Why don't we prove that we can do it? Let's do it ourselves. So we built IoT in a box on top of Cayenne. And where that evolved to was IoT in a box became our main product because it has all the features of Cayenne, except better, easier to use, more customer friendly. We can white label it. It's got a backend console. There's integrations out of it. There's advanced rules. So it's 100 times advanced from Cayenne, and it comes from feedback and all that. We've got Cayenne. Cayenne's got, I think, like over 150,000 users or something, just like obnoxious, like a ton of users on that thing. So we never turned the lights off on it because we didn't just want to, like, there's a lot of like makers with their Arduinos, Raspberry Pi, people doing smart home. I mean, we've got a web page dedicated to projects that people have done on Cayenne. And so we didn't have the heart to just kill that, right, and just turn it off. So we've always left it running, community supported, and it's there and it's open. But really, that is really where Cayenne has value now is if you are a hardware manufacturer and you're starting from scratch and you've got some components and you want to throw it together and you just need a quick library that you can stamp on there and see your data to prototype and build your commercial version of your sensor. You can use Cayenne to quickly drag and drop, build dashboards and see it. But typically what then happens is you then upgrade to IoT in a box as a white label, and this becomes your end user app that you use when you want to commercialize. So it is still a kind of a prototyping platform. In the near future, I think there's going to be some merge between so that we consolidate into just one product, but for the time being, yeah, they kind of run in silos. So really good question. That's hopefully that answer clears it up and makes sense for you. So high-end platforms, IoT in a box. Are there any low code / scripting capabilities? Yeah. So I'll send you the our docs page, because yeah, there is we've got libraries and things like that for feeding data in, and anything that you'd functionally be able to do in Cayenne, you can do an IoT in a box as well. So I'll send you over some documentation on that, so you can play around and see what you can do. Yeah, so to Alex's point here, I kind of got carried away because I know there's a lot of questions. We want to make sure we answered them. Hopefully we did a good job of answering them. Those of you that had questions that didn't get fully answered, or even if they did and you want to discuss further in a more private setting with more time allocated to you, this is the link, mydevices.com/Alex. We would love to chat more about your projects and specific questions and everything, and talk about pricing and kind of next steps with our partnership and getting access to the product. But yeah, Alex, any final words from your side?
No, this is great. And thanks so much for answering all the questions, Kim. It makes it much easier for me. I know you're probably out of breath now. And thank you all so much for joining us. It's this time was great because you get to hear more about our company. But like Cam said, the next steps is, us hearing more about you, your projects, hearing and telling you more about how we can support them. So please go grab a time on mydevices.com/Alex. We do free sensor consultations. Cam and I can jump on there and just have a good time talking about sensors, talking about House of Dragons, whatever's going on in your life right now, whatever shows you're watching, we're here to support the full experience. So grab a time there. And thanks so much for joining, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be in touch.